Joined by the voice of rugby league now, Rabsy, Ray Warren. Ray, g'day, how you going?
Good, thank you, Rick.
Mate, it's almost like we're watching an episode of Home and Away or Neighbours when we see Robbie Farah on the footy show last night and all the, I don't know, whatever you want to call them, the dramas going on at the West Tigers.
Yeah, it's become a saga, or a soap opera, I suppose. You can use either of those descriptions. It's all very unfortunate, really. I can understand both sides of the story when it comes to Robbie and Gordon Tallis. A lot of footballers retire and they become commentators, and I think sometimes they interview players and the player falls into a comfort zone talking to them. And then when they turn the camera off or they put the microphone down, they then have a chat with the former footballer, come commentator, and you might say something that you didn't think was going to go public. So I can see where Robbie's coming from there. But then, of course, when Gordon Tallis was pushed into a corner sometime later, he felt that he had to defend his own integrity. So it's a very interesting debate, but it doesn't help West Tigers. That's the bottom line.
Yeah, hopefully those two can smoke the peace pipe and get on with it, and hopefully the West Tigers can actually get on with it as well, because, I mean, they are a fantastic football club and they've got some fantastic players if they work on them.
Well, they can be a fantastic football club. Let's get it right. The fact of the matter is that there's been bickering there for quite some time, ever since they became a joint venture club. There's been argument upon argument, I'm led to believe, in the boardroom with basically who's got the power. I can tell you that Western Suburbs have the money. Balmain haven't got the money. But I think Balmain probably got the better share of the joint venture anyway. I mean, most people call them the Tigers, so that's a fairly large share of the corporation. But at the end of the day, Western Suburbs are the ones with the money. Now, the league is about to appoint 3 independents, and one of those independents will be the chairman. And it won't be until that happens that this club will get back on the rails.
Yeah, very true indeed. Mate, what are your thoughts on this coaching merry-go-round, coaches that actually start with a club and they're on a, 1 year, 2 year, 3 year contract, and they don't finish their contract out, and we see the Titans parting ways with their coach, John Cartwright.
Oh, well, that's part of management. If you sign a bloke to a long-term contract and then you decide that you don't want him anymore, and he doesn't want to go, then you're obliged to pay out the unexpired portion of the contract. That's business. And I think it's dangerous to sign people in the coaching arena to long-term contracts, unless their name is Bellamy or something like that. But sorry, you put your finger in the fire, you'll get burnt, and that's what's happened. The merry-go-round of coaches, that's another subject. I often think to myself, my God, I'd hate to be a coach because, I just mentioned Bellamy. The John Cartwrights and the Steve Prices and all of these people that have lost their job, if they had Billy Slater, Cooper Cronk and Cameron Smith in their ranks, they probably wouldn't lose their job. In other words, what I'm saying is, we're never going to be on a level playing field. I might be a better coach than you, but you might have better players than I've got.
It's really good to see the NRL actually taking games away from the usual traditional NRL grounds. Like we saw at a game up in Cairns last week, which the people up in Cairns loved it. We've got the Parramatta Eels and the Raiders in Darwin over the weekend as well. That's fantastic for the NRL to do. What are your thoughts on that? Oh,
well, I'm a great supporter of that. I've got no doubts that's what we should be doing, as opposed to taking, say, West Tigers versus Penrith and playing it at ANZ Stadium. I think that's rather stupid. But I have long believed that every club every 2 years should be made to take a home game to the country. And it should be underwritten by the rugby league. To me, it's quite simple.
Yeah, it certainly is. Tonight is an absolute cracker of a game, and this I know you like the Roosters for a grand final berth, but this could be another one. The Bunnies, who are in sensational form, up against this powerhouse Manly team.
Yeah, I still think South Sydney have got to show me before I can be convinced. And they probably will play without Burgess tonight, and of course without John Sutton. So tonight's result might not be it mightn't be a solid guide to the outcome of the competition come October. But don't get me wrong, they're one of the front runners, South Sydney. I still think Manly will play the Roosters in the grand final, and my favourite in the competition now is Manly. But that's all I've got to say, except that this will be a walk down memory lane tonight, really. I think there was a period there at one time, something like a span of 4 or 5 years, where whenever Manly played South, I'm talking about the back end of the 60s and the start of the 70s, it was the days of the match of the day was at the cricket ground, and Manly and South, they played the match of the day for about, I think, 15 matches in a row. So they never saw Brookvale and they never saw Redfern. They both had to get used to playing at the Sydney Cricket Ground.
That's going to be fantastic, mate. We love chatting with you on Friday afternoon. Thanks for your time this afternoon.
No problem, Rick, and good luck to the people in the New England.
Okay, thank you very much there. The voice of rugby league there, Rabsy Ray Warren, joining us this afternoon.